Hi everyone and welcome to episode 1 of Reputation Rescue at Lazio with me, the United City FM. So why Lazio? Well, their reputation has dipped in the last 20 years since they last won the Serie A title. They've picked up a couple of cups, they won the Euro Cup recently, but they haven't managed in 20 years to get back to the pinnacle of Italian football and win Serie A. So that's what we're going to try and do. I've given myself 3 seasons to try and win Serie A with Lazio and rebuild their reputation and put them back at the top of Italian football. So that's the plan. That's why we're here. 3 seasons. It's going to be fairly quick. And let's see if we can put them back on top of Italian football. It's going to be really tricky. The likes of Juventus are really strong. But I think we can give it a good go. You can see immediately finances are reasonable in terms of the current season as we start the challenge. And we've got 27 million in the bank. We've got a 14 million transfer budget. Only 4.5k left of wage structure per week. So we'll have to shift it around a little bit. And we'll have to sell, I suspect, before we buy a lot. But, you know, that's part and parcel of being at Lazio. So if we just check out the expectations from the board at this current time, they're suggesting sign players under 23, play counter-attacking football. So we're going to have to soak up some pressure and then counter-attack on our opposition. So we're going to have to find a tactic that works for that. So we'll figure that one out. The 5-year plan maintains self-sustainability, break even in the transfer market. For this season, they want us to finish in a Euro Cup spot in terms of qualifying for the Euro Cup through Serie A. And in the Euro Cup itself, they want us to reach the final, which is the minimum. Semi-final for the Italian Cup, and the Super Cup isn't important. So that's the immediate expectation for this particular season. And the next couple of seasons working towards the Champions Cup. But basically, I want to work for the Serie A title. That's all I really care about. So if we go and have a look in at the squad, I've been through the development centre. I've been through the under 18s and the under 23s. Is it in Italy that they call them? Under 20s in Italy. Okay, so I've been through those 2 squads. There's a couple of little decent players down there, but whether we'll see the most of that, I don't know, just because we've got that 3-year time period and then we won't be doing it anymore. So we might miss out on a couple of youngsters, but they got a couple of decent ones in the mix there. In terms of the actual squad itself, if we look at potential first, you can see that Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, he is the one that rules the roost in this club at the moment, but he is wanted by PSG. And if they come in with a stupid amount of money, I mean over 100 million, I think it's going to be a bit hard to turn it down because we could restructure quite a lot of the club. But that's a conversation for another day. We'll see what happens with him. I'd love to keep him. Absolutely, I would. But it is possible that he might go. Then we've got our goalkeeper, Strakosha. Not one that I know of particularly. Albanian, reasonably good. A couple of gaps here and there, but not too bad at all. 24 years old, so he's got reasonable potential. And then we've got this guy, 31. Apparently he's got huge potential. It's just his current ability, isn't it, really? Serbi. He's a central defender for us and could potentially be quite useful to us. Some very, very strong attributes there for him. So those are the key sort of ones. Luis Felipe, Correa, Adekanye. Yeah, I'm going to have to get used to some of these these names again, aren't I? Adekanye, he's got some potential about him. Isn't realised in his current ability, but apparently there's a player in there. Whether, again, we'll find it or not, who knows. And so if we then switch it over to current ability, again, Milinkovic-Savic is the top dog. With a Serbi, the 31-year-old central defender that we had a look at. He's next in line. Luis Alberto, another really good central midfield player, can play in that attacking midfield role or the central midfield role really well. So he's going to be somebody that we probably base a lot of this team around. Immobile, he's the guy up top, 29 years old, Italian striker. Very, very good attributes for him. 19 finishing, 15 heading. Composure is really great. So he's going to be a real force to be reckoned with, I hope, in our striking options. So you can see that we've got a couple of reasonably good professionals at the top of our squad. Lucas Leiva, 32 years old, another really experienced person. for building a side around, although currently he's listed out. So we'll figure whether we want to do that or not. But those are the mainstays in the Lazio setup currently, and you can see that what it is currently is quite a strong midfield. There's quite a good central midfield there. Lucas Leiva, Alberto, Milinkovic-Savic. There's some really good central midfield players there. So something to build a central midfield tactic around in terms of sweeping the ball through it for a counter-attack. We'll probably do a fluid counter-attack rather than direct, probably, but I'll have to figure that one out as well. So here we are on the dynamics page, and you can see that pretty much mostly everybody's happy at the moment. There's nobody causing a problem, which is great to see. Yeah, I've got a reasonably good connection for the first couple of days of being the manager here, which is fine. The team cohesion needs some work, but it always does at this point. During the season, that will get better if we perform well together. If we go to the hierarchy page, you can see that we've got Lulic and Parolo and Immobile as our team leaders, and a whole bunch of highly influential players behind that, which is positive to see. So there's good leadership here. In terms of the support, what's that, about a quarter to a third of the squad are reasonably happy to support me at this point, which I think for a new manager coming in is about what you'd expect really at this level. So the rest of them I'm going to have to win over, but I hope we can do that over the next couple of seasons. The social group, it's a bit spread out. There's a couple of people that are on the periphery slightly, but the core group seems fairly strong. It's got all of our three leaders in it. Maybe we would like one of those in one of these others just to tie it together a little bit more. But even so, that's not too bad. And the happiness, as we've said, nobody's unhappy at the moment. Nobody's causing a problem. So that's all positive. If we come and look into the team report and go to squad depth, you can see that we've got a reasonably good first choice goalkeeper, but not a lot of backup. We might have to potentially find a better backup, or even a first choice keeper that can shift the order slightly. We've got some decent central defenders though. Acerbi, Radu, Bastos and Felipe are all fairly decent central defenders with some good attributes. So I think we're fairly stocked for central defenders. Right and left-sided defenders, not sure whether we'll play fullbacks or wing-backs yet as to and what difference that will make. But you can see that Lazari's both in the midfield right and the defending right options. So he obviously can play down that right side. And then you've got the likes of Radu and Lulic. And Lukaku, Julian Lukaku, I think, is the younger brother. Jordan Lukaku, sorry, is the younger brother, I think, of Romelu, or he's certainly the brother of Romelu anyway. But he's injured, I think, for quite a number of months, 2 or 3 months at the start of the game, I think. So that's a problem. So I think we might have a little bit of work to do in these areas. We'll check that out as I go through the transfer window. Central midfield is no problem at all, is it really? With the likes of Lucas Leiva and Lulic and Parolo and Alberto and Milinkovic-Savic in there. Lots of options there. Again, though, not really sure about the wide right and left. I think the width of our side is where we might have to improve a little bit. And that depends on whether we play wing-backs or full-backs and whether we play attacking wingers or not. I think we might end up playing a more central midfield game in terms of sending it through the central midfield, but we'll have to wait and see. And then we've got the options up top, and we've got Immobile, which is a really good option up top, ably assisted by Correa. And then it goes a little bit lackluster, I would suggest. There's a couple in there that can do a job, but I'm not sure it's quite as good and strong as we need. If we sell some players to get some money in, maybe it's another area we need to think about. Certainly for next season at the minimum, maybe this season if we can, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But it's all up in the air depending on really what formation we decide to play. But there are some very, very good players in and around this squad, which is really, really positive. So in terms of stuff already happening transfer-wise, we've got a guy coming in next summer, joining us next summer on a free transfer, Gonzalo Escalante. I can't say that I'm overly bothered by him. I think he's decent without being great, but he might well be able to come in and play a squad role for us, so we'll check him out at a later date, but he's not in until next summer. That's the only bit of transfer business that's already been done. So we've got free rein to go and rebuild this squad a little bit. And we've also got to figure out what tactic. So here's my thought. From the point that this video goes out, this is Wednesday of this week. You've got about 24 hours before I come back in here and start setting this club up properly. I've got a couple of other things with a couple of other saves to do first. So we've got about 24 hours. So in that 24 hours, if you've got a thought as to what tactic you think we should play, probably in the fluid counter-attacking, so we go in okay with what the board are asking for us to do, but what formation would you use, etc, etc. How would you set this up? Have you got any experience of playing with Lazio yourself, and what can you tell me about them through your experience of playing with them through Football Manager? But there is a decent squad in here. There is a decent opportunity to build something. You can see that the star ratings are reasonable pretty much all the way through the squad. And so let's go and have a look in at the competition page for Serie A and see what the season expectation is. The season preview has Milinkovic-Savic in the dream team, which is really great to see. Always useful to have at least one of your players in there. But look around you and it's full of Juventus players, and this is going to be the big problem. Getting rid of Zebra, who are Juventus in this version of the game, is going to be so difficult. But we'll give it a good go. You can see that we are predicted to finish 4th this season. So whilst they've finished down in 8th in the last season or so, a couple of times I believe, they have upped themselves a little bit, and the expectations are that we'll finish 4th this season. I'd be happy with somewhere around there. Anywhere in the Euro Cup, Euro Champions Cup kind of placements I will happily take at this point, whilst we try and build them to season 3 where we can really put an onslaught on Juventus Zebra and see whether we can take that Serie A title away from them. In the meantime, I'll probably go in and try and change some of this and change them back to Juventus, maybe, but we'll see. I'll try and do that for next episode. But yeah, this is going to be a fun challenge, I think. There's some really good players in here, but some room to build as well. So if we go and have a look through the squad a little bit and suggest we've got us a couple of very good central defenders. So I think central defensive wise, we're not doing too badly. You can see that a lot of our full-back, wing-back options do play in that wing-back. Should we be playing 3 at the back? What do you think about that? And maybe playing 1 or 2 up top, maybe. I don't know. It could be anything, couldn't it, really, at this point? But as I say, get your thinking caps on and let me know what sort of formation you would want to use. In terms of our schedule, we've got some really, really tough friendly matches to play. Bayern Munich, Lyon, Barcelona, Spal. There's some really tough games in there to get any sense of whether this side is any good or not. We're going to have to play really, really well against some of these big guys. In terms of how we start the Serie A competition, Sampdoria are the first opponents. Inter come up in the first 3 games, which is challenging. Then Juventus. Look at that, Inter and Juventus immediately in the first sort of month of the league. It's going to be hard to get a good start, but if we can, I think we're sorted for quite a long time in this particular division. So, yeah, some real tough times to come, potentially, in the first season, whilst we rejig this side a little bit. But I'm really happy to be here. I think it's an interesting challenge. It's not a league that I've managed in an awful lot. I did a short-term one-season save with Milan, AC Milan, last Football Manager in Football Manager 19, but I haven't done it in FM20, I don't believe. So it's going to be good fun, good challenge. Let's see how we get going with this. So as I say, any thoughts you've got, let me know about them in the comments below. Always interested to hear your thoughts. I've got about 24 hours before I come back into this save and try and sort this out, ready to record for Saturday's episode. So you've got a day or so to think about what you would do here and let me know in the comments below. But yeah, it's just a very short introduction. The finances are good. The squad is good, but could be better. The balance of the squad probably needs to be rejigged depending on what formation we decide to use. Tactically, we're going for the counter-attacking style because that's what the board want. So, yeah, it's all going to be a lot of fun, I hope. I hope you'll join me for the series. And we'll be back on Saturday to play that first game against Sampdoria. And I'll let you know about how the transfer window went. So, join me for that. But thanks for today, for joining me here for this introductory session into Lazio. If there's anything else that you want to see in terms of around the club that I have forgotten to do and not shown you today, then put them in the comments below and I'll chuck them into the next episode as well. But thanks for joining me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Click that like button if you haven't. Join me for the next episode where we properly get going with Lazio. Thanks very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.